What's up, and welcome to Inside Gator Nation podcast. Today, there's quite a bit to talk about. We're coming into our matchup with Vandy, who almost pulled off their first win of the season against Kentucky last Saturday. They are an atrocious 0-6. Shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but some of the stats I'm going to go over with you might be a bit of a surprise to you. This might be somewhat old news by now, as it's Wednesday. I'm a little late getting this video out, but Will Muschamp was fired, and I couldn't help but to think to ask, maybe what is his next move? He obviously can't take a head coaching job because of the terms in his buyout. They literally just paid him $15 million to stop coaching the Gamecocks. Maybe he gets an analyst position somewhere, kind of like Charlie Strong did when he left Texas. Maybe there's an analyst position here at Florida available for him. It wouldn't hurt to have another great mind in the film room and somebody up in the booth during games to tell you what coverages are being ran. That would be, and if something happened to Todd Grantham, we'd have a coach in line ready to step in. I know this is not a popular subject with a lot of Gator fans. A lot of Gator fans have forgotten the success he has had here on the defensive side of the ball. That is, I know a lot of people say, oh, he hasn't won since Florida, or he's been trash since he left Florida. That's why we kicked him out. Yeah, but the guy is not a good head coach. That's the bottom line. He's not a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator. And a lot of fans are going to say, oh, well, he was horrible at Auburn as a defensive coordinator. That was his first year, and he got what he inherited. He produced a lot of first-round NFL talent here at Florida. Dominic Easley, Jonathan Bullard. I can go on down the list all day. I don't have that list in front of me, so that's not going to happen. But it's just a thought, maybe an analyst job here at Florida. And what about the 03 LSU team? He had a great defense, and I believe that was a national championship team. The fact of the matter is, whether us Gator fans want to accept it or not, is that guy has forgotten more football than we will ever know. And also, the fact of the matter is, 3 weeks ago, if I would have said, oh, what about Will Muschamp coming to Gainesville? If he would have got fired 3 weeks ago, everybody would have been like, oh, yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Let's get rid of Grantham and replace him with Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp is a great defensive mind. I'm not here to try to debate that, but fact is he's probably going to move on, maybe get offered the defensive coordinator job in the NFL, maybe the Seahawks. More than likely, that's not an option for UF, and UF probably isn't going to look at him, but it's not necessarily a bad idea to have him come in as an analyst. It's just a thought that I had. But let's move on to the the injury report for Saturday. Trent Whitmore suffered a broken rib and a punctured lung against Arkansas, I believe, early in the game. So that's unfortunate for him. However, maybe on the bright side of that, maybe Jacob Copeland gets a little more playing time, a little more reps, and a little more targets thrown his way. I would like to keep him satisfied. I know he's been complaining recently on social media about the amount of targets. I just wish that he could calm down a little bit and realize that next year is his year as a starter. What we're going to lose on offense, especially at the wide receiver position, Copeland's going to play a big part in that offense in the 2021 season. At the same time, he might not get as many targets as he would hope because we might be a more run-oriented team in 2021 with the fact that we have more of a dual threat or scrambling type quarterback coming in, and the receivers we're going to lose. I think the play style is just going to be a lot different. Hopefully that defense will take that next step forward, though, and we won't have to rely on the offense like we do this year. Mullen's doing a great job of masking the inefficiencies of Todd Grantham's defense this year. To the fair-weathered fan, it looks like Grantham has turned it around tremendously, but that's not really the case. Mullen has, like I said, done a great job of putting up so many points that nobody really realizes the defense is struggling like it is. If we only score 32 against Arkansas and we lose that game, everybody's going to still be on the fire Todd Grantham train. That's just how it is. Props to Mullen for taking the heat off of Grantham like that. Also, no more Kyle Pitts this Saturday. He had nose surgery, and I'm sure it's appropriate for him to take some more time off with the concussion. You don't want to rush anybody back from that. And also, James Houston is questionable. I'm not sure the extent of that injury or what even happened to him, but he is questionable day to day. And Jonathan Odom teased on his Twitter account that we'd be wearing the white helmets. As you see, you can't really tell what's on the side. I imagine it would be the cursive Gators and not the old school F. So more than likely we'll be wearing the all white unis for Saturday versus Vandy. I just love those unis, and I love it when we mix it up like that. It's just awesome. A couple of things to note. I watched the tape on the Arkansas game. I know I was just talking about the defense, and a couple things of note here. The DBs are still giving way too much cushion on the wide receivers on third down, especially. It just creates for an easy slant route to the wide open middle of the field, short route, and any opposing team that's coming to play us. If they're watching tape, which they are going to be able to exploit that. They know that's what we do. I don't know why we're teaching that, but it's an easy slant route for the middle for a third down conversion every time. Although I have to say we have improved on third down some compared to the first 3 games of the year. Also, as I mentioned a couple podcasts ago, I said we should start doing some delayed blitzes, and we did see that. And we saw it with Tyron Hopper in the fourth quarter. I love to see these young linebackers. That's something I also stressed on. And get them some playing time. And this next 4-game stretch, I think we're going to be able to do that more. Get the young guys some PT, get them fresh and ready for next year, and save our starters for this year. But some of these young linebackers like Hopper, they aren't no scrubs, and they could put in some valuable minutes for Florida and do some great things. I saw Tyron Hopper. He was great. He showed great maturity, and he wrapped up. That's what a lot of our starters don't do. They don't always wrap up. Hopper wrapped up and had great instincts Saturday. I also would like to see Derek Wingo and David Reese get some more PT. Hopper stuck to his gaps. He played sound defense. I couldn't be more pleased with the young freshman. Looking around to the league Saturday, some of the matchups in and around the league. Outside of the league, we got a big one here, Indiana versus Ohio State. I'm not sure who to root for in that game. I want to root for Indiana, but somehow they've only played 2 games and they're already ranked number 9 just because they beat a horrible Michigan team that I think Liberty could beat, to be quite honest with you. Indiana might be a little bit overrated, but if I root for Indiana and they upset Ohio State, yeah, that hurts Ohio State, which I love to see, but then Indiana's probably going to jump 8 spots all the way up to, or maybe 6 spots up to the number 4 position and still jump Florida. So that's kind of a lose-lose for us, in my opinion. Cincinnati versus UCF. Got to root for UCF in that one. Cincinnati's another one of those teams that are highly ranked. I'm not quite sold on just yet. You got Tennessee versus Auburn. Tennessee could give Auburn all they want. You got Liberty versus North Carolina State and Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma to round out the key games of the week. Not much going on inside the SEC. I was looking at some of the key stats within the conference, and believe it or not, Vandy's got some guys that are worth looking at. We'll start with the punt return yards. Kadarius Toney, believe it or not, is 4th in the conference in punt return yards with 60 yards. That does not seem like a lot. Cam Johnson from Vanderbilt right behind him at 5th with 46th. Punt return yards per return, KD leads that category in the conference at first with 10 yards a return. Nobody on that list for Vanderbilt. Receptions, yards per reception. Kyle Pitts at number 9 in the league with 17.3. Malik Davis right behind him at number 10. It was 16.7. Nobody in that category for Vandy. For receptions, Cam Johnson above any Gator player at 6th with 37 receptions this year. Kadarius Toney right behind him at 7th with 36. Passing attempts, number 1 in the league, to a bit of a surprise, a former Gator commit, Matt Corral, with 219 attempts. We did miss out on that kid. He would be poised and ready to go behind Trask when he leaves after this season. That's unfortunate for us. It's another quarterback we whipped on. Number 2, though, Kyle Trask with 211. Then you got Kenny Seals tied for 6th with 196. Bo Nix also at the 6th spot, so he's right in the middle of the pack in the SEC with the crowd of Bo Nix. Passing completions, Kyle Trask at number 2 with 148. Kenny Seals at the middle of the pack once again at 6th with 131. Passing yards per attempt, Kyle Trask at the number 2 spot at 12.3. I believe Mac Jones is at number 1. Nobody from Vanderbilt in that category. Of course, passing touchdowns, Kyle Trask leads the entire league with 28. Kenny Seals at 6th with 8. Interceptions, Kenny Seals with 8 picks, so he's not that accurate of a quarterback if you take into fact his passing to interception ratio. Kyle Trask tied for 6th with 3 picks. Completion percentage, Kyle Trask at number 3 at 70%. Kenny Seals at 6th once again with 66.8%. Passing yards, Kyle Trask is 3rd with 2,171 yards. Kenny Seals at 8 at 1,291. To the rushing category, rushing attempts. Nobody from Florida has anybody on this list, but rushing attempts at number 10, Keon Brooks from Vanderbilt at 85 attempts, so they do run the ball. Rushing yards, nobody from either school has a player on the list. Neither with rushing TDs, so that's a neutral edge there. Touchdowns from scrimmage, Pitts is tied for 6th with 8. Kadarius Toney tied for 8th with 7. On to the defensive side of the ball, 3rd down conversion percentage. Florida is at 67th with, Vandy is at 67th with 40.9%. Florida is at 78th with 42%. Slight edge to Vandy. Passing yards allowed, 90th out of 126 teams, I believe, would be Vandy. 94th right behind them goes to Florida. First down defense, tied for 77th would be Florida, and tied for 83rd would be Vandy. So both teams not doing a good job on first down. No surprise there. Red zone defense, however, this is a lone bright spot on Florida. We are tied for 23rd in the country with red zone defense. Vandy is tied for 105th, so I see us scoring a lot of points Saturday. Rushing defense, Florida is about the middle of the pack at 55th in the country. Vandy's at 86th. And sacks is another area that Florida is getting better at and is doing pretty well at. Florida's at 20th in the country, while Vandy is tied for 104th. So on to the score prediction segment of the episode. I might get quite a lot of slack from you guys about this, so take it easy on me. I think this might be the game that we get as close as we're going to get all year to a shutout. I suspect Florida to put up a lot of points. I don't want to predict too high, but I'm going to say Florida 56, Vanderbilt 3. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification icon so you get all the latest videos. I'm also going to be doing some recruiting videos coming up, and be sure to leave your score predictions as well. Thank you for watching, and go Gators.